Now, Raw's 30th anniversary show is live tomorrow night from a very happy Philadelphia after their Eagles blew out the Giants last night. They have a ton of legends advertised for the show, including Hulk Hogan, who apparently is being recruited to Scientology. That is the word going around. That's the new rumor. Wouldn't it be poetic for all that Gawker money that he won if the Scientologists end up bleeding him dry? Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, The Undertaker, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Kurt Angle, Booker T, Diamond Dallas Page, Road Dogg, X-Pac, The Godfather, Ted DiBiase at IRS, Jerry Lawler, Jimmy Hart, Teddy Long, and Alundra Blaze are all being advertised. The Bella Twins were being advertised. They are no longer being advertised, which has just ruined the entire show for me, I tell you. PW Insider says that Lita will be there as well. She'll be filming content for A&E, so if she's going to be there anyway, I don't see why she wouldn't show up on camera. We might even see her pop up in the Women's Royal Rumble match. Now, on Monday, they announced that there would be an acknowledgement ceremony at Raw 30 for Roman Reigns, with all the generations of the Bloodline represented. Rikishi was said to be attending, Samu of the Head Shrinkers, possibly Afa and Sika. And it got me thinking that this is going to be the seed planted for a WrestleMania match with The Rock. This was the closest thing that we've gotten to seeming confirmation, without actually getting confirmation, that The Rock would be wrestling a WrestleMania. I did not think The Rock would be wrestling a WrestleMania. That was my prediction on episode 789 a few weeks ago. I said Rock is going to end up not doing it. And Cody is going to win the Rumble, he's going to take down Roman at WrestleMania, and then eventually Cody will drop the championship to Seth Rollins, who gets payback for all the losses he took to Cody last year. So that's what I said on the prediction show. But then they announced this, and I thought, well, why would they be doing this unless they were using it as the kickoff to a program with The Rock and Roman Reigns? Rock doesn't show up to acknowledge Roman as the tribal chief. Roman feels disrespected, and you go from there. Then, in this week's Observer, Meltzer wrote that unless he changes his mind in the next few days, The Rock has indicated to WWE that he will not have the time needed to get into the kind of shape he believes he needs to be in to do a main event match with Roman Reigns. And Meltzer qualified that by admitting that it could all just be, a big secret that they're keeping from everybody. It looks like it's not going to rain tomorrow, but it's also possible that it might. And I laughed because the way it was worded, it's as if this all just snuck up on The Rock. Like it hasn't been discussed for over a year now. Like he didn't literally add a scene to young Rock last year teasing this very match for WrestleMania. And make no mistake, if the match with Rock and Roman does not happen in Los Angeles at WrestleMania this year, I don't believe it ever happens. I think it's now or never. Now, I know there's a difference between being in shape, which Rock obviously is. I think this guy sleeps in the gym, and being in ring shape. They are not the same thing. Truth be told, if we're being honest here, when Rock wrestled Jon Cena both times, first in Miami and then the next year in New Jersey, he looked gassed out within minutes of the match. And that was 10 years ago. So it is entirely possible that he wanted to do it. He thought it would be fun. He didn't have any issue putting over his cousin. I always said Rock was one of the most generous top guys, one of the most giving main eventers when it came to putting other people over. I never heard stories or read stories online like I did for other people about how they didn't want to do a job or they were a pain in the ass, they didn't want to lose. If you look at his body of work, he lost to plenty of people. I am sure The Rock would have no issue coming in and doing the job for his cousin. So all of those things could be true, and he really was thinking about doing it, and then he just came to the realization that, look, I can't do a full match like I used to. Or he just doesn't want to get hurt. He's also got the XFL relaunch coming up next month. We've talked about this already. WWE had a deadline. They needed an answer from him by now because Triple H needs to move ahead with making his WrestleMania plans. He can't just keep waiting around for The Rock. He needed an answer. I still didn't believe the report when I read that in The Observer. It felt to me like they were just saving him as a surprise. Until yesterday, when WWE announced a major change to the show tomorrow night. The Bloodline acknowledgement ceremony has been canceled. The angle has been dropped. And in its place now will be what WWE is calling the Trial of Sami Zayn. I don't believe we've had a trial on WWE television since the trial of Eric Bischoff. This is what the new preview says from WWE.com. Weeks of tumultuousness and questionable decision-making have caused dissension in the Bloodline. A wild Royal Rumble contract signing between Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens left the Bloodline wiped out and Sami Zayn holding the contract. Now, the head of the table and the undisputed champion has decided to hold a tribal court and put Sami Zayn on trial for his recent actions. What will the final verdict be on the honorary Uce? Tune in to Raw 30 this Monday on USA. But there it is, and you have to wonder if that means that The Rock really is a no-go for WrestleMania. That's how it reads to me. It doesn't mean that he won't be at WrestleMania, only that he will not be wrestling Roman Reigns. Which, honestly, I'm fine with that. I'm perfectly fine with that. You guys know that I think Cody Rhodes should win the Royal Rumble. I'm already giving away one of my predictions here. But you guys know that I think Cody Rhodes should win the Royal Rumble. WrestleMania should be Cody and Roman for the championship. In a perfect world, it would be Sami Zayn. In a perfect world, it would be Sami Zayn as the one to dethrone Roman Reigns as the payoff to this entire Bloodline story. But I just cannot see them doing it. I don't think they see Sami Zayn in that role. They don't see him as the guy to dethrone Roman and be the champion. They don't look at him that way. So Cody is the guy. What that means for Sami tomorrow night is the real question. Is this it? Is this the night that Sami Zayn finally gets whacked? Is this the end of the honorary Uce? 5 days before the Royal Rumble. On SmackDown Friday night, there was supposed to be a contract signing for the Rumble with Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens. Owens got the jump on the Bloodline. He gave Roman a pop-up powerbomb through a table. Then he signed the contract. Sami Zayn showed up late because Roman had sent him off as an errand boy to make sure the SUVs were ready, the engine was running, talk to the pilots, make sure the jet's all fueled up so we can get the hell out of here after this segment is over. He missed the entire attack. Owens then, when he saw Sami standing on the apron, threw the contract at him and ran off into the crowd. And something I did not pick up on at the time, but Andre got into my mentions and he pointed it out to me. Roman Reigns never signed the contract. That I knew. But what I did not pick up on was the look that Sami Zayn had on his face when he looked down at the contract after Kevin Owens had signed it. And how every other member of the Bloodline was staring a hole through Sami, because when the segment was over and Roman was laid out, it was Sami Zayn standing there with that Royal Rumble contract in his hand. It was actually a tremendous parting shot as they went off the air. But if you saw the look on Sami's face as he was looking at the contract and then looking up at Owens in the crowd, and Owens was looking back at him, almost like he was looking to see Sami's reaction to what he had just seen when he looked down and saw the contract, it makes me wonder, what did Kevin Owens write down that would elicit that kind of reaction? Did Kevin Owens sign Sami Zayn's name to the contract instead of his own? Now, why would he do that and give up a championship match? Did he sign Sami's name in place of his own? Or did he sign both of their names to the contract to make the match at the Rumble a triple threat? And I know that's not how contracts work, but it's wrestling. This is how contract law works in the world of wrestling. Also in the world of wrestling, you could attempt to murder somebody and not go to jail. You could go to jail, but they'll let you go 2 hours later on your own recognizance. That's how the law works. It's a very lawless society in the world of wrestling. But that's going to come into play tomorrow night during this trial of Sami Zayn. I love this. I love this storytelling. I really do. I love what they're doing. They still have to save the singles match, though, with Sami and Roman for Montreal. They have to save that for the Elimination Chamber. But Sami Zayn has to be involved in this match at the Royal Rumble in some way. He is as much a part of this story as anyone. The whole story revolves around him. I just want to watch the show tomorrow night and let it play out and see what comes next. I still don't think we're getting the end of Sami in the Bloodline tomorrow night. I don't think he gets whacked just yet. I think they save it for after the Rumble. That's my guess. Also tomorrow night, The Usos defend their Raw Tag Team titles against the Judgment Day, Damian Priest and Dominic Mysterio, ex-Con Dom. The hope in having the Usos defend the tag belts separately is that it makes the fans think it's more likely that they get beat for one set of belts. Which is smart. I mean, I don't know why it took Triple H this long to start doing that. On SmackDown, they're in the middle of a tag team tournament right now to determine number one contenders for the SmackDown tag team belts. Drew McIntyre and Sheamus are going to beat Hit Row in the semifinals this Friday. Imperium takes on Legado del Fantasma this Friday. That should be a McIntyre and Sheamus against Imperium final, which I'm sure is where we're headed. Becky Lynch tomorrow night takes on Bayley inside a steel cage. And Austin Theory defends the United States Championship against Bobby Lashley. Speaking of Theory, the belief now is that John Cena's WrestleMania opponent will not be Logan Paul, although the idea was pitched. It will be Austin Theory, who was the rumored opponent for John Cena at SummerSlam last year, but Cena was not able to work the show. Fightful reported that when Cena worked the SmackDown show in Tampa last month, he filmed an angle backstage that has yet to air with Austin Theory, which is why Theory got pulled from their live event in Toronto that night, even though he was supposed to be in the main event. He got pulled last minute from that show to be in Tampa. Cena is going to be filming a movie in Australia next month for 8 weeks. So whatever they filmed with Theory might be the only segment we get out of him before WrestleMania.